Let's get back to it. Welcome back to Ancient Domains Mystery. In this one, I hope to go a little bit more in depth with certain hotkeys, commands, and really try to break down what I'm doing here because there's just. So I was watching that last video a lot, and I was like, wow, there's really a lot that I have not explained. A lot of it's just like really technical mechanics. Where was I? That that I feel like would really help you all along in this tutorial. As you can see, I have many different, some of these things that I like name my characters. Obviously you could see like what my first kills were, because this one was, I wasn't sure if it was a bear or a cat, so bear cat. We're just gonna go with that. Ratling Archer, here's where we left off, the Rasha Rat, and that's right, because here's the little girl that I wished her puppy back. And yeah, so in this here village of Terreno, this is going to be one of your sort of main towns, mostly because it's probably the only guaranteed store where you could get food in order to, stave off hunger. In fact, how much food do I have? I'm going to go with I and V to check my stuff. I've got tons of rations and a bit of candy. I'm actually pretty good. My gold is, I'm pretty stable there. What quests I got? Venture western to the Draco train, enter the caves. Alright, so this quest is pretty much your main quest throughout the whole game, where if you don't remember the intro to this whole game, it's basically you have come to this continent essentially and trying to stop the flow of chaos. There's a number of different endings to this game depending on how you play it, your alignment, and a bunch of other factors. And because of that, excuse me. Because of that, some of these endings include, like a normal ending would be you stop forces of chaos by like closing what's called a chaos gate and just kind of save the world, become a hero, all that. And then there's endings that require you to do a bunch of other stuff, getting certain items, a lot of preparation for things called like the ultra ending. There's a chaotic god ending. If like you're like a chaotic alignment, you become like basically like a chaos god and rain terror. Bunch of other things like that you could do with the ending that are a lot more specific, and I'm not going to show you in this video just because it's just so much. Even with a wand of wishing, it's just so much. Anyway, back to our regular tutorial, just to show you the basics of this game in a regular playthrough. We're not going to try any of that. Hopefully in the near future I will try to do runs where I show different endings. Because I would really like to see those. I've kind of yet to see those at the moment, but not today. So where are we in the map? So this is your continent. This is like kind of the mini map of your big continent. As I mentioned before, this game's kind of old. It's been around maybe like 20 years or so, and it did not used to look like this. This is the very pretty Steam version. It used to be, what's it called? ACI or something like that, where it's just like the little dots, and I forget how to turn that mode even on, but there's a way to trigger it. There it is. This is what the game used to look like in the 90s. Like, yeah, the whole game. This is you. That's you. That's why when you see the start menu and it has this little @ symbol, it's kind of like homage to all that. This is just, like hills, grass, rivers, and what button was that? Nope, not that one. That was a screenshot. There it is. It is F10. So yeah, F10 triggers the traditional version and the Steam version. So yeah, we're gonna travel on down here. Go on this way. A lone Hydra. We're not gonna deal with the Hydra. I don't want to deal with the Hydra. So we're just gonna keep on going, and then just to kind of give you a sense of what that looks like. This is what it used to be like. Like things would just kind of pop up, and it was much more command key based. I mean, it still is. It just looks prettier. But you know what? I'm not doing that because it kind of hurts my eyes when you're not used to it after so long. Enter roving. Do I want to fight these fools? Yes, I want to fight these fools. Come here, fools. I need some experience, and they give me plenty of arrows, so I'm gonna switch to defensive and just start shooting with the T button. And because I am an archer, and the more I train it, the better I will be. And it never hurts to get more experience, especially once you've gotten past the early game. Ooh, out of arrows. Apostrophe that. All right. Once you kind of, the crossbow. Fine, I don't want to do that. All right, how about let's do a sling. Do some rocks. Oh, come on, man. There we go. This game is really kind of designed to kill you. I know that sounds extreme, but I have it on easy mode, and even in easy mode, it's you could become doomed or cursed, which I'll go over later. And just things happen. Like you could die like instantly if you just roll a one like enough times. And like I mentioned, doomed and curse are two intrinsics that come with the game. So are another two called lucky and fate smiles. Basically, if you have one or the other, you just it affects your number rolls. It affects how strong enemies are, how often you fall in the traps. Little things like that. If you've played like D&D, then you know what I'm talking about. And so therefore, a number of things can get you cursed first, and then doomed, which can really suck after a while, unless you are playing a certain character that actually strives off things like that. Usually those are the more chaotic characters, or some kind of scumming involved. That's not it. I just kind of know where this one is, but it's the one that looks like... No, let's not deal with that right now. I'm on a mission. Oh, here it is. It's the one that kind of resembles the start menu. So we're going to go up in there. Gonna shift sign that. Congratulations! Sweet. Little things like that will just gain you experience, so that's kind of nice. Let's see. Let's get my healing up. Yeah, because that'll affect how much I regenerate. Let's do concentration. I like to put concentration up because as we start to move into the mid game, you're gonna want to you're gonna eventually come across ways to learn spells, and even if you don't plan on being a spellcaster, that's totally fine. Ooh, yes, get out of that way. It still comes in handy to have just like one or two, just to kind of save your ass here and there. All right, this is an interesting teaching moment right here. See this? See this? This is an altar. I guess I should talk about alignments. Alignments, depending on how you play, if you are a type of player that doesn't give a crap about this, that is totally fine. It does not actually inhibit the play, but if you do want to mess with it, the rewards for it can be pretty fucking awesome. Such as an intrinsic called crowning in the game. You can become a champion of your deity. It is heavily encouraged, but not necessary for beating the game. Basically, your alignment, you can go through the whole system. You can go from, chaotic as can be to like totally lawful if you really put in the effort. You could do whatever you want. You'll know where you are because, as you see, I started out as a neutral earlier, and then as I did more and more good deeds, I got more and more pushed towards order, and so I became lawful. I'm not pure lawful. If I was a pure lawful, I'd have a plus sign right here, and when you have extremes like that, like a plus lawful, or equal sign neutral, or minus sign chaotic, which is as chaotic as you can get, and if you have enough favor with your deity by sacrificing a lot to your god. You can become crowned, which is really fucking cool. Because you get special artifact items. You become permanently blessed, which is really awesome. Which kind of leads me into this whole uncursed. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. This whole uncursed, blessed. I don't think I. Oh wait, there's one. Cursed blanket. Um, this game has a really weird. I don't know how to explain it. Like, basically, if an item is blessed, it's like its own number generated rolls will be in your favor. For example, say I got hit with a blast of water, right? My cursed blanket might only be good for like one use and then disappear. But if I bless it, it's like close to being indestructible because all the numbers are in its favor. That's a really oversimplified way to put it. Let's say these gauntlets are cursed. If I attach, let's just do it. Let's just. I'm wearing gauntlets, aren't I? Yeah, you know what? I'm feeling lucky. We're gonna attach these random ass gauntlets. Oh, why did I do that? Grushanker is laughing at me so hard right now. So, alright, this is a really good learning point. This is why you do not do what I just did, because I was feeling lucky, and I was wrong. Gauntlets of Peace is an auto-cursing item. Watch. I will go to try to remove it. You cannot bring yourself to remove the Gauntlets of Peace. Yeah. So, auto-cursing, which means it cannot be removed, which means if I was wearing rings, I can't take the rings off. If my girdle is cursed, I can't take my armor off. That kind of thing. This game is super anal about stuff like that, and I don't know why I decided to test that with gauntlets when I'm well aware of the dangers of the Gauntlets of Peace. Probably one of the worst things you can fucking fuck yourself over with if you did not have a Blessed Wand of Wishing that can give you Scrolls of Uncursing. And I just wasted a wish, but that's okay. We're just gonna... I don't want to deal with you right now, actually. I just want to get this shit off me. We're going to shift 1, so exclamation point, to... Oh, wait, I did scrolls, huh? Okay, well, if I had a potion of holy water, I could just dip it in that, but we don't have that. Because I'm, stoned. We're gonna do R. Read that scroll of uncursing, and we're gonna select the gauntlets. These are, of course they are. Since that didn't work, it means the scroll of uncursing itself is cursed. Which means it did absolutely nothing. Which is really, really ironic. That's what I mean by, like, the Wand of Wishing does not guarantee good things. Because now I will probably have to, unless they're both cursed. I don't know if they're both cursed. Glows in a black light. Nope, that one was cursed too, so it did absolutely nothing. So let's try this one. Maybe this one's not cursed. Grows in a silvery light. Cool. So now it's an uncursed, which is kind of the neutral state of most items. So, like, if you see something that's uncursed, it's just kind of whatever. There's no numbers in its favor or against its favor. It's just regular number rolls. So get that shit off me. Put the archery gloves back on. Oh, and the cool thing about items that auto curse is that even though this is uncursed, because it is an auto cursing item, if I were to equip it again, it would still be cursed. So be careful with stuff like that, because there's a number of items that you will just get to know and love every time you come into contact with them, because Jesus Christ, that is so annoying. And if I did not have this Wand of Wishing, like, this would be so awful, because the way your rolls work out is dependent on this formula. Essentially, minus 15 to, like, melee, minus 15 to missile attacks. I do get +3 to dodge and protection, so I guess that's cool. That's why they're called the Gauntlets of Peace, because I can't hit anything. So it's just pacify, right? And then, like, there's other things too, like Broadsword of Corruption. There's a lot of like suffixes and prefixes on items that you could just look up a whole list of that. But I know a lot of them, but not all of them. But some of them will have, they're just items that just have a certain thing with them. So like a Broadsword of Corruption, for example, the more you use it, the more it will corrupt. If I was a chaotic character that feeds off corruption, I probably would use this. But because it corrupts and I'm not really interested in that right now, I'm not equipping it. Even though it's got basic stats, it's, nothing to missiles. It's one dice, 1d7 plus 1 to whatever I roll. That's pretty standard. Like my crossbow is 1 and 2, and I mean 0 and 2. So that's a really basic sort of breakdown of the sort of curse to uncursing and blessed and all that. And you can even, if you were a pure spellcaster, there actually is a blessed spell that you can learn that will kind of help you along your way. So anyway, back to this whole altar business. Be careful with altars because you can sacrifice anything. So, you can also, what that means also is you can, if you sacrifice something of their own alignment, then you would change the altar, and now you're fucking with gods. And if you do it enough times badly, they can do horrible things to you, such as like, you know what? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna save. Oh, yeah, the game has been saved. All right. Here's an example. I'm going to shift and O to basically sacrifice a rat, right? Because I was of a lawful alignment and this was a chaotic altar, I sacrificed something that was neutral, right? And so basically the formula is that it turns it into neutral. You will fuck with gods here, and sometimes that is not a good thing because you will need their help. There is a prayer option in this game that if I did not have this Wand of Wishing, I would be using a lot more because it does things like either heal you, or if you're hungry, it'll feed you because your god will take pity on you, and your piety is just high enough that your god will help you out. But if you are like out there just changing altars and you're not loyal to any of them and you're just pissing them off left and right, like they won't help you. And if you ask for help, they might even smite you, which is really funny sometimes because it can involve things like turning all of your inventory into dust except for like cursed items, or they can like doom you, or it's kind of hard to dig yourself out of that hole because by then you're probably running for your life because it's just generating monsters that come and kill you. So play your alignments carefully. Giant rat is consumed by the flames. You sense a conflict between supernatural entities. That was the lawful god. No, sorry. That was the chaotic god and the neutral god. Quarrel for supremacy. The chaotic god got pissed off and left. And then welcome believer. And now I am a neutral lawful. And I've just kind of gone up and down the ladder here. So if I wanted to keep... It really kind of depends on what you are. Because if I wanted to keep it neutral, then I could just like keep sacrificing people. And so like... Sask seems to be pleased. If you keep doing it, see, look, I went to not like more. I went closer towards like neutral. It's definitely risky business, but if you play it right, it is super rewarding. What else can I sacrifice real quick? And if you can't, you don't have to sacrifice like things either. Let's save really quick. You can sacrifice items as well. So let's see if this god will take any of my offerings. Oh yeah, take that. I don't need that. I want to keep the hatchet though. I'll keep the bow. Tali doesn't want that. What about the fiddle? Yeah, take my fiddle. I honestly, I like to feed altars because why not? If, there's other things too, like if I were to drop all these items and I have a high enough relationship with my god, it will tell you, it'll appraise it for you. It'll basically just tell you if it's cursed, blessed, or uncursed. Like for example, I'm just gonna drop the crossbow and then I'm gonna pick it up. See, it's uncursed now I know. Little things like that just come in handy, especially when it comes to, let me drop I don't think I have any, do I? Potions? Do I have any potions of water? No. So if I had potions of water, I would drop it, and if my god liked me, they would make holy water. And holy water is really useful for uncursing cursed items and a number of other things, such as blessing items and quests and blah 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 blah. So it pays off to be devout sometimes. Let me get rid of the tome. I don't fucking need that. What else do I got? White potion. I'm gonna give him my gold. I don't really need my gold. I know that sounds crazy, but trust me, you get so rich later on. Plus, it really pleases them. See, seems to be very pleased with you. It takes a long time to get crowned, but that shit's kind of fun. The only downside to getting crowned is if you stray away from your alignment after you've been crowned, your god will get pissed off and you'll be a fallen champion and kind of like lose all your benefits. So it's definitely something to strive for like late game. Alright, well, that's enough of that. Oh, I'm hungry. Let me eat this corpse. You feel uneasy. See, it kind of brought my alignment a little bit down. So, you know, after a while, these messages, you'll just get used to them. But when you're just learning, it helps to really pay attention to them. Just because, you know, a lot of times you'll get hints, or even just really funny stuff. Like, there's a lot of Lord of the Rings references in this game. Like, if you start as a hurt, see how it says, if you sense a pious aura? See, we found the altar. So every time there's an altar on the level, it'll say, you sense a pious aura. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, no. I lost it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sure it'll come back to me. What else could I explain to you about while I search for this staircase? Oh, look, a potion of water. I'll take the robe, too. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Let's go back up here so that I can demonstrate what I'm talking about with this potion. See, if I was over there, I would just be sacrificing these fools. Unless, the only time you don't want to do that is if, say, I'm neutral, my altar's neutral. If an animal, which most animals are neutral, if I sacrifice something of my own alignment, my god will eventually get pissed off and will turn chaotic. So that's why I'm like, be careful. Know your alignments. Know what you are sacrificing, because sometimes that'll piss your god off. So I will drop, drop, where was it? The watery potion. Glows in a gray light. Pick up holy water. We're going to do exclamation point. We're going to do cursed blanket. E. Holy water. Potion of holy water. Let's see. Blessed blanket. So now the blessed blanket, every time we are in the water, it's a waterproof blanket. I just haven't identified it, but I know it's a waterproof blanket. When we're in the water, it will basically protect all of my items from rust. That's why it's so important. Because you can also run into water traps, which will rust your items at like random, at the will of the RNG god. So having it cursed really sucks because it's potentially only good for one use. Whereas even though it's blessed and can still potentially be damaged, it's just the number god will take pity. So yeah, sure, why not? You know, as an archer, I'm playing my my skills and missiles. Trying to just 7 arrows. You know what? I'm gonna switch to arrows. Can't? Oh, I can't, huh? Oh, hold on. Yeah, there we go. Let's do the A. So when you have the skill appraising, because I'm a Ratling, right? I have appraising, right? Yeah, it's pretty good. Basically, it just gives you hints if it's like cursed or uncursed or any of that. So if it was like good or better, it's probably blessed. Fair, it's probably just uncursed. So That's like kind of what that is. There's like I said, there's all these like little things to the game that you kind of like if you paid enough attention to, you're like, oh, that's super detailed, which I like personally. I would hope a lot of you do too. um, but I could see, some people are like, yeah, I just kind of want to kill things, and I feel that like honestly, my favorite class, troll wizard. Um, if you can get over hunger and know how to ration your food, troll wizard is unstoppable. It's hard early game because as a wizard you want to train, your mana and your spells, but most spellcasters gain levels based on their intelligence. They're learning. The skill or the attribute learning, in a way, dictates a lot about how your character levels. Basically, like if you have a really high learning, you're gonna gain experience faster. So if your learning is like 4, like most trolls, you gain levels very slowly, which is hard when you're a spellcaster because then you get less access to spells. You basically have to play a troll wizard as big meat punch that eventually kind of learns how to shoot lightning bolts here and there. And like late game, there's definitely ways to manipulate your mana and willpower to make a troll wizard super strong. You just have to survive the early and mid game to get there first. But once you get there, oh, you can just punch through anything, anything, anything. Like, and then like if you just know like a handful of you don't have to know every spell to get through this game, but if you know the right ones, the ones that really come in handy, then you are set because all you really need is that like 1 or 2 spells to really get you through. Where are these stairs? I am looking for. Oh, I just passed those stairs, didn't I? Oops. Go down on here. I'm gonna kick that. I would search for it, but take my chances. Deal with. Oh, that's what I was gonna say about halflings. This game does have hobbits. They're called hurtlings, but they're essentially hobbits. And if you play as a hobbit or hurtling, sorry, if you play as a hurtling, you will always a blink dog. You will always start the game with a random ring that is usually cursed and you cannot take off of your finger. And that's how you start the game. Usually it's a harmless ring most cases. But it's just little things like that that the creator of this game just, you could tell he had fun with it. Okay, we have reached this cavern. This is a really big cavern. We're about halfway to where we're gonna stop. I'm just gonna gain a little bit of XP here. I'm gonna try not killing the cat. Try really hard not to kill the. If I can not kill a cat, then the cat lord will just be a little bit stronger, or easier to deal with. Just don't. I'm gonna put coward because coward will raise my dodge and protection. So, sweet stairs. Dive, dive, dive. Oh, damn it. Damn, I hate water. Alright, well, let's save this. Usually water levels can be annoying. Because later in the game, like, I don't know, like, sometimes you just gotta be quick to, like, get out of here. And it just kind of gets in the way. And then you gotta deal with rust if you're, like, sometimes you just don't have time to unequip metal stuff. And I guess that's where bridge building would come in handy, but I hate bridge building. It's just so, you have to like go cut trees, go carry it down all the way. That's kind of cool. Carry it down all the way, and sometimes it doesn't even work depending on your skill. And by then you're like really hungry, so if you're a troll, it's like kind of meh, but if you're a human, you could probably do it. Or even like maybe a high elf. They're a little bit sturdier than most elves. Next time I'll explain more about races and all that because every race is got like different stats and all that, and just really just kind of depends on what you want to play. And there's nothing wrong with a fate roll. I love fate rolls. Honestly, that's kind of the true way that this game was meant to be played. Is you just kind of roll a random class combo. Um, and there are definitely some classes that are much easier early game than they are other classes. However, some of them are just kind of meh. Like for example, um, paladins. It's kind of straightforward. You don't really like stray too far from your deity or really, you know, cut clean, cut dry, all that. Just oh, sweet, cool. 'Cause I'm a rat. If I was like not a rat, I probably wouldn't do that. Anyway, um, or like I know if like you're a drake, you drakes are really interesting because you can spit acid. They're the only ones that can do that, like as like a defensive thing. And but here's the thing though, you are very susceptible to elements. So, oh, no, I should have unequipped it, but whatever. Um, you're very susceptible to like things like heat, especially. In fact, there is one. If you get to the fire temple in this game, oh yeah, by the way, there's element temples like Zelda and all that shit here. So just letting you know that now. Um, if you, uh, you know, fuck, what was I talking about? Got distracted by like my items. Maybe I'll take that off too. It's gonna rust. 7 league boots. Let's try that now. You eventually kind of just know. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Things become second nature. And like I said, I try really hard to explain what I'm doing, but a lot of this is autopilot, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have to think about what I'm doing. But that is okay. What are we doing? Rusty short sword. Let's try this broadsword I picked up. It's pretty standard. Let's try that dagger. Let's try the hatchet. I like the hatchet. Hatchet's more of a tool, but it's pretty useful as a weapon as well. Just trying to find these stairs. Sir, I'm trying to get out of the way. Where are we at? D7? Yeah, usually at the bottom here is a place called Dwarf Town, and that's usually where I make my base. Ah, yes, I found it. See, I guessed that because of all this empty space right here, and I was like, well, I already just came from here, so we'll try that. Never be afraid to search and all that. Anyway, we're heading to a place called Dwarf Town. That's kind of like going to be your HQ. This dungeon that we're in, it's the sharpen your spirits. Ooh, I think that gives me a boost to something. Anyway, we're in the Caverns of Chaos right here. So this is the main dungeon that you're going to spend most of the game in. It goes down about 50 levels ish. On the 50th level is where you find the Chaos Gate. And you need to close it or stop the evil from coming through it somehow. And I'm just gonna leave it there. Come on, leave me a corpse. Damn. Anyway, so you can actually get an achievement by playing the whole game and not visiting anywhere except this cave and the fire temple, which is outside of this cave. You can go the whole game with just those two locations only. You miss out a lot for sure, but you'll get an achievement for it on Steam. So it's kind of interesting. One day I'll try that. It just seems kind of boring, honestly. It's like, damn, I really can't do anything else. Like, no Tomb of the High Kings, no like Griffin Bloodthrax quest. Like, it just seems kind of no Terreno, no healing skill if I don't already spawn with it. That's kind of meh. I'm gonna eat that ogre. Sometimes if you eat certain things, you get certain benefits or things that harm you. I'll I'll show you. When I get an example, I'll show you. But that's why I was wondering why that if that spider was going to give me a corpse, because if you eat a spider or anything poisonous, it will actually give you poison and resistance. And I wish life worked like that. Ooh, nice. Let's do. I'm gonna get dodge all the way up. Let's do concentration. Ooh, greased lightning. 4 to speed. So now I am actually pretty fast. This affects how quickly I can outrun things, how many hits I can hit my opponent before they hit me. Lots of stuff like that. It comes in super handy because there's going to be a lot of situations where you're like, I would just rather not. And you're just going to want to run away. Alright, see this item right here? This is an artifact. It's called the Sai. I'm going to tell you right now, every time it spawns, there's a trap underneath it. So I'm going to kick it and pick it on up. And just because I want to show you what I'm talking about, watch, there's going to be a trap right here. See? Suddenly you fall into a pit. Arg. I did that for you guys. Hope you're happy. I'm just kidding. Cool, we have reached Dwarf Town, entered a huge cabin which seems hewn from the stone. Several gobs of bright light floating in the air illuminate the cave very effectively. You're in Dwarf Town. This is like your main HQ at D9. This is where you will find a guaranteed altar that matches your alignment. If you are lawful, this will be lawful. If you are neutral, this will be neutral. If you are chaotic, this will be neutral. This will never ever be chaotic. And this is the priestess. Priest, whatever. This person will always spawn as your own race. So this person could be a troll or a dwarf or a human. It's kind of interesting, really interesting character. Not one that I would recommend killing if you are a chaotic character. Guaranteed store. Be careful when you go back here because sometimes you will find mimics, and when you go back there to look at an item, they will attack you. When you are in a store and you remember to turn off auto pickup because you will accidentally steal stuff and then it'll just be bad news bears from there. So auto pickup is Control A. It is now turned off. When you activate it for the first time, you can set it to the things you want to auto pick up. So I have it set to like scrolls, potions, money, stuff like that. Stuff that I don't, that I know I want but I don't feel like picking up. Scroll of Identify. I'm really just looking. Who knows if I'll actually want. Amulet of Greed. Interesting. Long Spear. Carrot Juice. Alright, well, that was interesting. That was fun. I'm going to turn that back on. And then, let's see. I will go talk to the chief. He's going to give me some quests. Shift C. Good to see a heroine. What do you want to talk about? Girls. No, I don't. Let's do quest. I want you to slay a caveman to prove your valor. Find it somewhere and then kill it. Okay, so Thundar will give you 5 quests, each one harder than the last, but the rewards are pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Return to me when you have succeeded. He gives you a quest. He will also give you another quest if you enter the word gate or portal. We close the deeper levels of the dungeon to prevent foolish adventurers from uncovering even greater evils. The portal seems not to be able to lock the forces of chaos away, but at least it prevents the foolish from wreaking havoc. So, from here on out, this is pretty much your main quest. To close the gate or kill what's coming out of it. Or sometimes even join it, depending on your character, which is also fun, but different. Very, very different than what I'm going to show you. Do you want to venture beyond the portal? Yes. First, you need to prove your worth in a quest. A vile necromancer has defiled the grave of one of our bravest heroes. Purify his grave, and you will be rewarded. The graveyard is located in the southeast part of the chain. Find it, kill it, take these items to help you in your quest. And he gives you this quest. This quest is very dangerous because you will be fighting a lot of undead, and one thing I really can't stand about undead enemies is a lot of them not only health drain, but stat drain. So if you have spent a long time upping your strength or your toughness or your willpower, there's tons of stuff down there and throughout the late game especially, where stuff is just going to stat drain you left and right, so you need to learn to run away and just kill things at a distance, whether with magic or with missiles. Melee, you can go through the whole game strictly melee. It is a lot harder without any missiles or ranged. You better be fast. You just better real fast. Okay, one last thing. So you know how I have to kill a caveman for this quest, right? Normally you just gotta go look for it, and if you find one, you find one. But we have a blessed wand of wishing, so I will wish for one. And he has generated hostile. I'm gonna murder him right here in front of him. Prove how hard I am. Good, I completed my quest. He dropped some stuff. Cool. I'm gonna talk to him. Talk to him about the quest. Well done. Take this potion as your reward. Give you insights. Basically this potion's a literacy potion. I'm gonna actually drink it. You greatly improve the knowledge of reading and writing. What am I at? Literacy. Good. Nice. That'll come in real handy with scrolls. What is actually this book? Suddenly gone. I guess my learning wasn't high enough to learn whatever spell it was. Oh well. Talk to him again about quests. This is the second quest. Find the animated forest. Cross it and find out what is beyond it. Crossing the forest directly is perilous and tedious. Try it only if you is strong enough to bear distress. You might want to try the shortcut through the forest. It is a tiny stairway which will lead into some of our halls. These days it was conquered by evil beasts of great power. Nobody has ever returned from that forlorn place. It's your choice. Return when you succeeded. He's basically talking about you need to either cross a forest, which is more annoying than dangerous, because it's just packed with trees, animated trees. The easiest way to go through it would be to equipped shields on both arms, and then that way like you won't accidentally hit anything and try to kill it, and then just kind of move your way through the forest. Super annoying, and I really don't want to do it. I usually take my chances with the shortcut, the Dwarven Halls. Dwarven Halls is a very dangerous place. If you are not fast enough to outrun anything in Dwarven Halls, I don't recommend going through it. It's just a lot of very dangerous number rolls down there and a lot of overpowered enemies. So I highly recommend only going through the halls if you are fast. And I'm pretty fast, so I'm just going to go for it because I know I can outrun if I get into trouble. And I also have a glowing wand of wishing, which, as you can see, is really moving the game along a lot quicker. But we're going to call it here. I will show you more in my next video. And thanks for watching. See you soon, everybody.